You know, life has this strange way of showing us who truly matters, and when I look at you, I see the part of my world I can't imagine without. Every heartbeat whispers your name, every breath feels incomplete if you're not near. I can't live without you. Please don't leave. Because losing you wouldn't just be losing a person, it would be losing the part of me that makes me feel alive. I'm standing here raw and honest, because love like this, it doesn't hide, it doesn't wait. It's now, and it's everything. I remember the first time I realized how much you meant to me, though at the time, I didn't even know the depth of what I was feeling. It was in the way you smiled at nothing, the way your laughter seemed to fill every corner of the room, the way your eyes found mine in moments so brief and yet so comfortable. I thought then that life was beautiful in simple ways, that moments like that were fleeting but enough to make a person feel alive. And yet the more I saw you, the more I understood that it wasn't just your presence that mattered. It was your absence that terrified me. Because I began to see, in those quiet moments when the world seemed to pause, that I could not imagine waking up and not having you in it. I couldn't imagine the spaces that would remain empty without your voice, without the warmth of your hand in mine, without the way your existence colors my world with a brightness I didn't even know was missing until you were there. There's a gravity to love like this, one that pulls you into a state of vulnerability so complete that even speaking these words feels like exposing the deepest parts of my soul. I can feel my heart shaking even now, knowing that you could walk away, that you could disappear from my life, and I would be left with echoes of a presence I could no longer touch. Every day I carry the thought of losing you like a shadow that follows me quietly, relentless and unyielding, reminding me that what I feel is not just love, it's the very air I breathe, the pulse that keeps me moving forward. I remember the first time you laughed at something so small, so inconsequential, and I thought that if I could bottle that moment, I would. I would carry it with me through storms, through silence, through nights when the loneliness presses in, because in that laughter, I found the meaning of connection, the understanding that life is made not of grand gestures, but of small, intimate sparks of recognition between two people who matter to each other more than anything else. And now, when I look at you, I don't just see your face, I see every unspoken word we've shared, every glance that said more than language ever could. Every moment where your presence grounded me in ways I didn't even know I needed. I see the way your hands move when you're nervous, the way your eyes soften when you listen, the way the world seems to tilt in perfect alignment when you're near, and I understand that nothing in this life could ever replace that. Not achievements, not moments of joy, not the laughter of friends or the beauty of sunsets, because none of it carries your weight, your color, your gravity. And when I think about a world without you, even for a second, it feels unbearable. I feel a hollowness, a pulling, a quiet scream that nothing can soothe. I think about the nights when you're not beside me. I think about the nights when you're not beside me, when your warmth isn't there to chase away the chill of solitude. And I realize that every heartbeat of mine has learned your rhythm, that every breath I take carries your essence, that every thought that drifts through my mind finds a way to return to you. I can't lie and say I'm brave because I'm terrified, terrified, terrified that in some unseen moment you might choose to step away, that you might grow tired, that you might find the light elsewhere, and I would be left fumbling through the shadows of a life that no longer contains you. And yet, despite this fear, I cannot hold back from saying these words, cannot hold back from admitting that my existence is irrevocably intertwined with yours. I can't live without you. I cannot. It's not just a plea, it is the truest fact I've ever known about myself. And every time I try to put it into words, the words feel like tiny vessels carrying something immeasurable, insufficient to contain the vastness of what I feel. But still, I speak, because if I do not, if I let silence rule, then the weight of what I feel will crush me. I need you to understand that this is not desperation. It is the purest form of love, a love that is not bound by pride, by ego, by fear of vulnerability, but a love that simply exists, that demands to be known, that trembles in the quiet moments and reaches out, trembling the coping you will see and know how profoundly I need you. I think about every touch, every glance, every fleeting moment of closeness we have shared, and I realize that they are not just memories, they are the threads that hold me together, the invisible cords that tether me to life in the most beautiful, terrifying way. I remember your voice, the way it resonates in my mind even when you are far away, the way it has the power to calm storms within me, to bring clarity when confusion clouds my heart, to make everything else fade into insignificance. And I know that losing you would be to lose a part of myself I cannot retrieve. I think about the little things, the small gestures that perhaps seem insignificant to the world, but which have become monumental in the architecture of my love for you. the way you tilt your head when you're curious, the way you wrinkle your nose when you're here, thinking, the way you reach for me without asking. And I realize that each of these things, simple as they may seem, is etched into me, woven into the fabric of my being, and to have them removed would unravel me entirely. I think about the future, though it terrifies me, and I see it bright and dark, uncertain and fragile, and yet I cannot imagine stepping into it without you by my side. I cannot imagine waking up to a morning where your presence is absent, where the comfort of your warmth is replaced by cold emptiness, where the reassurance of your love is substituted by silence and distance. I cannot imagine living through ordinary days without the extraordinary anchor of you, without the gravity of your soul tethered to mine. And so I speak, trembling, faltering, because to speak is the only thing I can do to keep hope alive. Because love like this cannot be quiet. Love like this cannot be contained. It refuses to remain hidden. It demands acknowledgement, demands vulnerability, demands that I open my heart fully and completely, and trust that you will not walk away. And I cannot allow myself to imagine a life without you, because to do so is to imagine the world without light, without music, without meaning. I need you in ways I cannot rationalize, cannot quantify, cannot even articulate fully, because love like this is beyond words, beyond time, beyond reason. I feel it in my chest and my veins, in every cell of my being. It is a pulse that will not stop, a current that will not waver, a truth that will not bend. I need you to understand that I am not asking lightly, that I am not exaggerating, that I am not exaggerating, that I am not performing for sympathy or attention. I am simply laying my soul bare and trusting that the depth of my honesty will be enough for you to see, for you to know, for you to feel, in some way, the enormity of what you mean to me. I can't live without you, not because I am weak, but because life itself has become synonymous with your presence, because the joy you bring, the comfort you give, the love you embody is not just a part of life, it is life itself. And I can spend hours trying to describe it, to map it, to make it tangible, but the truth is it cannot be captured, cannot be measured, cannot be contained. It simply exists between us, around us, inside us, and I hope with everything in me that you can feel it too. I hope that you understand that when I say I can't live without you, it is not a plea for pity, nor a demand, nor a threat. It is a confession of the most sacred and undeniable truth that has ever been written across the landscape of my heart. And I hope that you will hear it, not just with your ears, but with your soul, that you will understand that every beat of my heart is calling for yours. Every breath is a reminder of how incomplete I would be without you. Every thought, every memory, every fleeting instant is a testament to the fact that you are not optional in my life. You are essential, irreplaceable, unrepeatable, the axis around which everything I am spins. And I cannot, I can feel the weight of your absence even when you are right next to me, as if the world conspires to remind me of the fragility of this bond, the preciousness of what we have, and the unbearable thought of it slipping through my fingers. Every glance I cast in your direction carries an unspoken plea, a silent confession of the truth I cannot hide, that life without you is not just lonely, it is unimaginable. I have tried, in moments of quiet desperation, to envision a day without your laughter filling the air, without the warmth of your hand brushing against mine, without the quiet certainty that comes from knowing that there is someone in the world who sees me fully and still chooses to remain. And every attempt collapses under the weight of the truth, the undeniable reality that you are no longer just part of my life. You are the axis around which it spins, the gravity that holds me steady when chaos surrounds me, the light that makes the shadows bearable. I remember countless moments, tiny fragments of time, that now loom like monuments in my memory, each one a testament to the fact that you are indispensable, the way you tilt your head when you're thinking, the way your eyes soften when you listen, the quiet, unspoken understanding in a glance. These are not trivial things, they are the very fabric of my existence. They are the very fabric of my existence. I have tried to explain it, to rationalize it, to bring words to something that is almost too vast for language itself, but I have learned that words always fall short. They are mere vessels, fragile and inadequate, trying to carry a weight that cannot be measured. And yet I speak, because silence is far too dangerous. Silence allows doubt to creep in, allows fear to take root, allows the unbearable possibility of losing you to become real. And I cannot let that happen, not without pouring every ounce of truth I have into the open. Not without pouring every ounce of truth I have into the open. Not without revealing the trembling vulnerability that sits at the core of my being. Not without showing you that what I feel is neither fleeting nor performative, most absolute reality I have ever known. I need you in ways I cannot fully articulate. I need the rhythm of your breath beside mine, the sound of your laughter spilling into the quiet spaces of my life, the comfort of your presence that makes every hardship bearable. Music. To imagine a world where you are absent is to imagine a life stripped of its color, a sky without sunlight, a song without melody. I have walked through moments of loneliness, tried to convince myself that I could endure it, that I could survive it, but every time I have faced even the smallest hint of your absence, I have felt the hollow ache of incompleteness, the quiet scream of a soul that knows it is tethered to another in ways that defy logic, defy reason, defy explanation. And so I speak, trembling, faltering, because speaking is the only thing I can do to resist the gravity of despair. Because love like this, the kind that anchors the soul and refuses to let go, cannot be silent. It cannot be hidden, cannot be ignored, cannot be ignored, cannot be contained. It demands to be known, demands to be felt, demands to exist in full, unfiltered truth. I remember the small, fleeting moments that now loom large in my mind. The times your hand brushed against mine in a gesture so subtle yet so profoundly intimate that it left me trembling. The times your gaze found mine across a room and held me in a way that made everything else disappear. The times your laughter spilled into the air and filled a void I did not even realize existed. These are not mere memories, they are the lifeblood of my existence. Without them, without you, I am hollow, Mao. Theo, you, I am hollow, drifting through a world that feels gray, muted, meaningless. I cannot live without you. I cannot survive the thought of waking up to a morning where your presence is absent, where the comfort of your warmth is replaced by cold emptiness, where the certainty of your love is substituted by silence, doubt, and absence. I cannot endure it because you are more than a person to me. You are the axis of my existence, the gravity that holds me steady, the light that illuminates even the darkest corners of my life. And so I stand here not demanding, not pleading, but confessing, bearing my soul with nothing left to hide, because to remain silent is to risk losing the only thing that makes life worth living. I need you to understand that this is not desperation, it's truth. It is raw, unfiltered, unyielding truth that spills from me because it cannot be contained, cannot be ignored, cannot be ignored, cannot be silenced. Every heartbeat, every breath, every flicker of thought returns to you, to the reality that you are indispensable to me, that my world revolves around you, that the very essence of who I am is tied irrevocably to your presence. I think about the future, though it terrifies me, and see it as a vast, unknown expanse. Yet in that expanse, there is only one certainty, one constant: you. Because life without you is unthinkable. And I do not say this lightly, nor as a rhetorical gesture, nor as an embellishment of emotion. I say it because it is the truth of my existence, the undeniable, unshakable core of my being. Music. I think about the nights when you are not beside me, when the warmth of your presence is absent, and I feel a coldness that seeps into my bones, a silence that echoes louder than any noise, a void that no distraction, no comfort, no effort could ever fill. And yet, in spite of this fear, in spite of the terror of imagining your absence, I continue to love you with a depth that is both terrifying and exhilarating, with a force that refuses to be diminished, with a truth that will not be denied. I speak because I must. I speak because to remain silent would be to betray the reality of my feelings, the gravity of my need, the irreducible truth that you are everything, that without you I am nothing. I think about every small detail that has come to define the essence of us: the way your eyes light up when you're happy, the way your voice carries across a room and reaches into the deepest corners of my heart, the way your touch lingers long after it is gone. And I realize that these details are not trivial. They are the building blocks of my existence, the pillars of the life I cannot imagine living without. And I need you to know that every second apart is an eternity. Every missed glance is a wound. Every silence without you is a reminder of how desperately incomplete I would be. I need you in ways that cannot be quantified, cannot be contained, cannot be fully understood, because love like this is not rational. It is not convenient. It is not measured by logic or reason. It exists in the depths of the soul, in the quiet tremors of the heart, in the spaces between breaths, in the spaces between breaths, in the unspoken understanding that some connections are so profound, so essential, that to exist without them is to cease to exist fully at all. I am here, vulnerable, trembling, exposing every fragment of myself, not to manipulate, not to coerce, not to demand, but to confess that I cannot, I will not, I do not want to live in a world without you. That my existence, my happiness, My very being is intertwined irrevocably with yours. That you are the axis, the anchor, the light, the pulse, the reason, the answer, and the irreplaceable center of my life. And every word I speak, every beat of my heart, every flicker of thought is imbued with the same truth repeat music, said again and again, because repetition is the only way I can begin to convey the immensity, the inescapable weight, the absolute necessity of your presence in my life. I cannot live without you. Every time I think about us, I see a tapestry of moments stitched together by something invisible but unbreakable, something that has quietly taken over my life without me even realizing it until the thought of losing you made my chest tighten. I remember the first time your hand brushed against mine. It was nothing extraordinary, maybe just an accident. But in that simple touch, something shifted inside me, like a spark igniting a fire I'd never known existed. And ever since then, I have carried that fire with me, growing, consuming, defining me in ways I cannot put into words. I replay our conversations over and over in my mind, even the small ones that seemed trivial at the time, because now they are evidence that you are not just part of my life, you are the pulse of it. Every laugh we shared, every secret glance, every whispered word in the quiet hours has become etched into me, a permanent fixture in the core of who I am. And now, when I imagine a life without you, it feels like staring into a void I cannot survive. The thought of your absence is unbearable. Imagine waking up in a world where your presence is missing. And it feels like losing the sun, the air, the music that makes everything else meaningful. I feel unmoored, adrift in a sea of emptiness where nothing has color, where nothing has weight, where nothing feels alive. You are not just someone I love. You are the gravity keeping me steady, the reason I breathe, the anchor that holds me upright when life feels too heavy to bear. And I realize with terrifying clarity that I cannot face this world if you are not in it. I think about the way your eyes light up when you're excited, the way your voice softens when you're comforting, the subtle movements of your body that I have come to memorize as if they are part of a language only we understand. These details, small and unremarkable to the outside world, are monumental to me because they are you, and I cannot bear the thought of never seeing them. Again, never hearing your voice again, never feeling the warmth of your presence surrounding me. Every heartbeat, every breath, every thought returns to you because you are not just part of my existence. You are its essence. I cannot live without you, because to live without you is to live in a version of life that is incomplete, fragmented, hollow. Every memory we have shared, every moment of closeness, every laugh and tear has become woven into the very fabric of my being. They are not just memories, they are my lifeline. And I need you, not as a fleeting comfort, not as a temporary solace, but as the constant, unshakable presence that makes life whole, meaningful, and real. I speak these words now because silence is a betrayal of the depth of what I feel. I cannot hide it, I cannot ignore it, and I cannot hope it will be understood unless I lay it bare. I am vulnerable, trembling, raw, and entirely exposed, because the truth is that my life without you is unimaginable. And yet, despite the fear, despite the terror of even imagining it, I love you with a force that refuses to be contained, that refuses to be quiet, that demands to exist in every moment of my life. I hope you understand when I say I cannot live without you, that it is not just love, it is the truth of my existence, the most essential fact of who I am. Losing you would not just be losing someone I love, it would be losing myself, losing the part of my life that gives it purpose, losing the part of my life that gives it purpose, losing the anchor that keeps me from drifting into emptiness. And so I stand here with every ounce of courage I can summon, asking you, pleading with you, hoping beyond reason that you will stay, that you will see the truth of what I feel, and that you will never leave. Because my life, my heart, my very being depends on you being here.